Good morning, good morning. What's going on, gang? If you know, you know, squad, what it do, man? It's a beautiful Tuesday morning. Well, it's afternoon, rather. Day 12 of the R. Kelly trial. I dropped a lot of videos for y'all. Y'all gotta go catch up, go run it up. Give me the likes, share, subscribe, tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. Let's get the Lil Wayne light flicker going. I got my spliff. I'm not waiting for Judge Harry Leonard Webber to give them a break before I light my spliff because it looks like it's going to be a long day. I'm starting my reading late, so we have a lot of content to catch up to. And, this case is very draining when you think of the content of it, what we're actually discussing. It's not a feel-good topic, so yeah, I'm going to need this spliff. But let's just go ahead, jump right on into it. I hope y'all day is well. I hope your mental health is well. I hope you're physically well. I hope your families are well. And if you're not, you are in my thoughts and my prayers. And with that, let's begin. So another day in the R. Kelly federal trial in Chicago is underway. Prosecution is preparing to rest its case against Kelly and his co-defendants today or tomorrow. And defense attorneys say they can present their case starting next week after Labor Day. Prosecutors in the R. Kelly case are telling presiding Judge Leonard Webber that they intend to rest their case today. He instructs the defense attorneys to try and move up their time scale so that they can finish presenting their case by next week, Wednesday. Alternatively, Leonard Webber proposes that the trial can take off Friday and Wednesday if the defense needs those days to prepare and the prosecution has no use for them. Starting off today is defense attorney Jennifer Bongine cross-examining a friend of Tracy, Kelly Weatherspoon, who yesterday said she was sexually assaulted by R. Kelly when she was 16. So just to clarify that, Tracy says she was sexually assaulted, not Kelly. Bongine is attempting to drill into when exactly Tracy met R. Kelly. Tracy herself maintains that it was when she was 16, but Bongine brings up an investigation report from her friend in which she states that she didn't mess with Kelly at 16. Given the conflicting information, Bongine asserts the assertions given to the investigators years ago was probably more accurate given that I was closer to the events in question. Tracy's friend disagrees. So it's Kelly Weatherspoon who says that they attended the Black Women's Expo in 1999 with Tracy and that R. Kelly gave her his number at the Black Expo when she was 16. Kelly is confident that Tracy and R. Kelly met in 1999 and that they went to the Chicago track studio on that same day. Bongine points out that in earlier interviews, she was unsure if they went the same day or several days later. Bongine pulls up two other federal interview reports in which Weatherspoon said Tracy may have been 17 or 18 when she met R. Kelly in a Westin Hotel in Chicago. That incident is when Tracy said Kelly had sexually assaulted her. Weatherspoon defends the inconsistencies between her statements to investigators by saying, "She's not a professional R. Kelly researcher. My life is not Tracy and R. Kelly. I gave them my responses off of my knowledge and what I remembered at that time." Bongine, now getting back into the exact date of the Black Women's Expo, Weatherspoon said it was sometime around 1999 or 2000. She cannot recall when. So just a side note, Tracy said yesterday that the Black Women's Expo occurred in 1999, but affidavits attached to Tracy's 2001 civil suit says that she met Kelly in 2000. So unable to pin down the exact answer from Kelly Weatherspoon, Bongine concludes her cross-examination. Prosecution is back up for redirect. Prosecution only confirms that Weatherspoon, the friend, was 17 when she met R. Kelly with Tracy, and she is off the stand. Next up is Nia, the last of the alleged R. Kelly sexual abuse victims that will be using pseudonyms in this trial. Now, buckle your seats and prepare for this, y'all. This is going to be a crazy story. Nia says she met R. Kelly in 1996 when she was 15. When he came into the Atlanta mall Nia was working in at the time. Nia said Kelly gave her his autograph and his phone number and that she called him later that day. The first time she called Nia said she just got the machine. But a few days later, she managed to get in contact with R. Kelly. She says she told him she was disappointed that she wasn't able to attend his concert that was happening on that first day that they met. In a separate phone conversation a few days later, Nia said that she told R. Kelly that she was 15 years old. She added that they made plans to meet while he was still on tour at the Target Center in Minneapolis. Nia says her conversations with R. Kelly were flirtatious from the start, that it was like talking to a boy she met at the mall and was interested in. Nia said R. Kelly arranged for transportation to get her from Atlanta to Minneapolis. A limousine picked me up from my mom's apartment and took me to the airport. Before getting to the airport in Atlanta, Nia said the limo stopped at a gas station so that she can get a single rose to give to R. Kelly. Nia says a Sprinter van took her from the hotel room in Minneapolis, which was also set up by R. Kelly, to the concert Kelly was playing. She says she spoke with another girl her age while at the concert and that they exchanged phone numbers. After the concert, Nia says another man took her back to the hotel. She says she didn't see R. Kelly that night, but he came to see her early that next morning at the hotel. When Kelly came to see Nia, she says he gave her a hug and a kiss on the lips. He then instructed her to undress, which Nia says she did. She says he then touched her breasts and began to masturbate. Nia said R. Kelly, while masturbating, asked if Nia was a virgin. When she said she was, he reportedly asked Nia to come see him in Chicago. When he finished masturbating, Nia said he left in a rush, leaving the rose she bought for him behind. After returning to Atlanta, Nia said she finished out the school year and then came to Chicago in the summer of 1996. She says she reached out to R. Kelly again while she was in Chicago, still 15, and that she had 3 cousins drive her to see him at his studio. R. Kelly took us to a waiting area inside the studio, Nia says. She and her cousin stayed there from around 6 or 7 p.m. to after 2 a.m., she said. Kelly was recording for most of the time. Nia said eventually one of R. Kelly's employees came to get her from the waiting area and brought her into a hallway where she met Kelly. While she was there, she says Kelly She says Kelly put her hands down her pants. That doesn't make sense. I guess he meant to say Kelly put his hands down her pants, because the next statement says, he touched my vagina and he caressed my behind. After leaving R. Kelly's studio around 2 a.m., Nia says she tried to call him several other times that summer, but he never answered. Nia says she filed a civil lawsuit against R. Kelly in 2002, which settled for $500,000. Another thing that she mentioned is that she saw R. Kelly several years later in California on the set of his music video, If I Can Turn Back the Hands of Time, while she was pursuing a career in acting and modeling, but she says Kelly didn't acknowledge her. With that, the prosecution ends its questions for Nia, and Lennon Weber calls for a 15-minute break. So if you guys have your spliff, this is the time that you're supposed to go ahead and go light it. All right. So, court back in session. R. Kelly's lead defense attorney, Jennifer Bonjean, is now beginning her cross-examination of Nia. Nia tells Bonjean she didn't get into a deep conversation with R. Kelly when she first met him in the Atlanta Mall in 1996, only that she got his autograph and his phone number. She says she has since lost the autograph. Nia repeats to Bonjean that what she told the prosecutor, Jason Julian, that she didn't attend R. Kelly's Atlanta concert the day she met him because she lacked transportation and her friend at the mall didn't want to go. Bonjean asks for the exact date of the 1996 Minneapolis concert Nia says she attended at R. Kelly's invitation. She says she can't remember, but that it was in the spring. Nia says she had no ID when she boarded the flight from Atlanta to Minneapolis, but that she didn't need it because she was given a password by R. Kelly's agents. At that time, I was given a password and I was able to board a flight. What a time to be alive. Bonjean asks what Nia's mother thought about her cross-state trip, because that's what I was thinking. My mom was a registered nurse, and my mom had already gone to work when the limo picked her up, she was saying. I told my mother that I was going over to a friend's house for the weekend. So she's a liar. Bonjean asks if anyone saw her getting into the limo, to which Nia says her brother did. She adds that her brother was like her best friend and that he knew about the trip but didn't tell Nia's mom about it. Bonjean asks if any of the hotel staff in Minneapolis asked her for an ID, to which Nia says she can't remember. Bonjean now asking about the van that Nia said took her to the Minneapolis concert. Was this like a hotel Sprinter van, or was this an associate of Mr. Kelly? Nia responds that she isn't sure, only that Kelly's agents took care of her during her stay. So that's it from David. We're going to move into Andy Grimm. He's provided a lot of good details. When Kelly arrived at Nia's hotel room, she asked him to take a picture. He did not want me to take a picture. He said he would take a picture another time, she said. He then asked her to undress and walk around and next fondled her. And y'all get the point. Kelly left the hotel room in a hurry but stayed in touch. After school let out in Georgia that June, Nia went to stay with relatives in Chicago. She reached out to Kelly. Kelly made plans for him to visit his studio. Nia was still 15. Nia and 3 of her cousins went with her to Kelly's studio, and Kelly comments that he thought he was expecting her to come alone. Nia and cousins sat in an office where they could see Kelly in his studio. They waited around, and someone eventually calls her out into a hallway. She and Kelly made out a little, and the star kissed her and put his hand in her pants. She was called into the hall again later. Nia never told her cousins. She didn't tell her cousins about her and Kelly. I didn't want them to know. I was embarrassed. Their reason for coming was to prevent anything from happening, and I didn't want them to know. Nia sued Kelly over the underage sexual encounter in 2002. The year Kelly was indicted in state court on child porn charges and settled out of court for $500,000. Bonjean notes Nia had the same lawyer as another alleged victim who also sued Kelly, Tracy, who testified yesterday. All right, so now Nia being questioned by Kelly's attorney, Jennifer Bonjean, who is quizzing her about Nia's phone conversations circa 1996 and the program for the R. Kelly shows. This was in the pre-cell phone era, okay? So more 1990s tech as Bonjean asked about the Minnesota concert. Nia says Kelly was on the bill with LL Cool J and suggests Bonjean could Google it to verify. Have you Googled it so you can see who was playing? I know who was playing because I was there. Wow. So Nia reiterates that she came to Chicago in summer 1996 after the end of her school year in Atlanta and that she stayed with her aunt and cousins in Chicago. She also states that she came to the city of her own volition. Nia tells Bonjean that her cousins initially disapproved of her seeing R. Kelly while she was in Chicago, but that they eventually agreed to drive her to the studio so long as they could come along to keep an eye on her. Bonjean asks if Nia's cousins tried to stop her from seeing R. Kelly privately in his studio. She says they didn't. They never said anything. That never happened, Nia said. She also says she didn't see R. Kelly again that summer as he did not return her calls. Nia says she saw R. Kelly on his Hands of Time video set in 1998 or 1999 when she was 18 or 19. She says she was a featured extra on set. Nia says R. Kelly didn't much acknowledge her while she was there. I thought he probably met so many women that he didn't remember me. Added that her feelings were hurt. Nia tells Bonjean she contacted a private Chicago attorney, Susan Loggins, to file a civil suit against R. Kelly in 2002. The suit settled quickly. With that, Bonjean wraps up questioning Nia, and prosecutor Jason Julian is back up for redirect. What did she sue for, I wonder? Julian asked about the timing of Nia's lawsuit against R. Kelly. Per the complaint, it was filed May 10th, 2002. Julian has nothing further, and Nia is off the stand. Now on the stand is Cheryl Ware, Nia's cousin, who was in her early 20s when Nia came to stay with the family in Chicago in the summer. Not clear on the year, says 1995 or 1996. Cheryl went with Nia and the other cousins to Kelly's studio. Ware said she and the group stayed at the studio until roughly 1 a.m. watching the recording, saw Stephanie Sparkle Edwards. As they left, Kelly asked to talk to Nia. They went out to the hallway. They were out there for exactly 5 minutes because I went and got him. On cross, Bonjean notes that Ware said she kept close watch on Nia while at the studio, didn't see Nia alone with Kelly except for the 5 minutes in the hallway, and that Nia at the time didn't say anything about the encounter with Kelly. The government recalls IRS agent Jason Shriver, who is presented with records from the Georgia BMV showing Lisa Van Allen's driver's license application. Defense made much of discrepancies with her age when she met Kelly, whether she was 17, the age of consent, or 16. From Andy Grimm, I don't have much details what they got from that, but he said with that, the government rests. Kelly's indictment mentioned another underage accuser, Brittany, who was mentioned in testimony as joining threesomes with Jane. Trial is recessed until Thursday morning. Judge Lennon Weber decided that. Lawyers will be back for motion hearings Wednesday at 10 a.m. So there will be no trial on Friday. They'll start the defense will start their case on Thursday. And McDavid's attorney, Bo Brindley, suggests the defense case might finish on Tuesday, which would be 1 to 2 days of defense with a Memorial Day holiday. So now the prosecution rests its case in total. There will be no more witnesses called. There will be no trial on Friday, as I just mentioned, and is being greeted by the R. Kelly press corps who've been here. It's like a snow day in elementary school. All right. So no Brittany. That's the last of the prosecution. So this is literally the last witness that the prosecutors will call up. So thanks for rocking with me. Drop your thoughts and your comments below. And we're going to dig into this when they resume the case.